Browning Manufacturing, located in Maysville, Kentucky, is part of Emerson Power Transmission. Customers recognize Browning as the market leader in belt drive technology because of our complete product offering of shivs, belts, and our technical capabilities. Customers benefit from Browning's 100 years of belt drive experience in the marketplace. Our customers include all major HVAC original equipment manufacturers and countless industrial customers throughout the world. Customers can take full advantage of our technical service capabilities at the factory or through our internet site at www.emerson-ept.com. The V-belt drive is one of industry's most efficient and popular means of power transmission. Properly selected, installed, and maintained, quality V-belts will provide years of reliable service and prolong the life of any motor. The single most important factor in providing optimum operating efficiency is maintaining proper belt tension. Incorrect tension is the most common problem with V-belts. This video will cover the fundamental steps to properly maintain your belts and shivs, as well as instruct you how to check for wear. It will also cover the proper steps for installing new shivs and belts, setting the proper tension, and how to use a Browning tension checker. First, whenever servicing any type of electrically driven machinery, turn the power off. Lock out and tag the main disconnect of the equipment. Remove the belt guard and clean it thoroughly. Look for these telltale signs of premature belt failure. If the belt sidewalls are glazed and cracked, or have pieces missing, the cause may be too much heat generated by belt slippage. This condition can be caused by extreme loads, low belt tension, a stalled drive, or a poorly designed drive. Consult your Browning drive specialist to help identify the correct solution to your problem. You should always keep your V-belts clean. A stiff bristle brush may be used to eliminate any dirt that has accumulated on the belt. Particles of dirt can embed themselves into the belt, making it coarse and rough and causing undue wear on the shiv. With a simple soap and water solution, we can remove oil and grease from the belt. Oil and grease are enemies of a V-belt. They cause the belt material to soften and swell up, making the belt feel spongy to the touch. Once the physical properties of the belt begin to break down, belt failure is not far behind. Under no circumstances should you ever use belt dressings. Dressings often have a softening effect on rubber compounds, causing premature belt deterioration. By using belt dressing, you are treating the symptom, not solving the problem. During your visual inspection, you have determined that new V-belts are needed. Begin by loosening the motor hold-down bolts and sliding the motor base so you can easily remove the old belts. Never attempt to force or pry belts on or off a drive. This will cause the outer fabric of the belts to crack, or it may rupture the inner cords, resulting in shortened belt life, belt turnover, or belt breakage. Next, visually inspect the shiv for any foreign materials that may be lodged in the groove. These particles could force the belt from its path in the grooves and cause it to turn over, or it can cause groove wear that decreases the life of your shivs. If cleaning is required, clean the shiv groove with an appropriate cleaning solution and rag or bristle brush. Then use the shiv gauge to check for shiv groove wear. Select the proper gauge according to the shiv diameter and insert it into the groove. The gauge rim should rest on the top of the outside diameter of the shiv, and the inside should lie flush against the side walls of the groove. On multiple belt drives, be sure to check all the shiv grooves for uniformity. A common pattern for groove wear is one where the side walls of the shiv groove become concave or dished out. This occurs most often in the small shiv. A dishing out that measures more than 1/32 of an inch will cause the belts to lose their wedging action. Another indication of excessive shiv wear is a worn surface on the bottom of the belt and shiv groove. Worn shivs should be replaced. Follow the bushing installation instructions for assembling shiv and bushing. You can find these at www.emerson-ept.com. vbelttensioninghigh.ept.com in the media library. Clean any oil, paint, or other contaminants from the sheave bore, bushing tapered barrel, bore, and bushing cap screws prior to installation. When installing sheaves and bushings, always locate the drive as close to the bearings as possible. This will reduce the overhung load and increase bearing life. Slide the sheaves and bushings on the shaft. Pull the sheave on the barrel of the bushing, aligning the holes as you pull. On lightweight sheaves, you can install the bushing and sheave in combination. Place the bushing in the desired position and torque the cap screws to the values shown on the instruction sheet. Anytime you make a change in the distance between the two shafts, it is imperative that alignment be rechecked. The easiest and most common method of determining sheave alignment is with a straight edge. Simply place the straight edge across the outside edges of the two sheaves. The straight edge should be making contact at two distinct points along the outside perimeter of both sheaves. On horizontal drives, use a level to check for angular misalignment. It is essential that both sheaves are in the same vertical plane and the belts are not twisted. With the new sheaves installed, proceed to the installation of the new belts. It is critical that you install the correct belts. Be sure that all belt replacements are a match set. Belts from Browning marked Code 1 are a match set. We can provide machine-matched belts to closer tolerances if requested. Also, never replace just one belt in a set. Never use new belts and used belts together on a drive. It is also recommended that you never mix belts from different manufacturers. They may have different length and cord placements, and mixing them could result in much shorter belt life. Staying with one manufacturer will make identification and selection of belts much easier and result in better drive performance. Take the properly marked and matched set of belts and place them one at a time over the sheave grooves. Be sure the motor mount is sufficiently loosened so no undue force is needed to place the belts over the sheaves. Hand adjust the belt so that all the slack is on the same side, usually the underside. Tighten the belts by increasing the distance between the shafts until both spans of the belt are snug. Now you are ready to adjust the tension for the new set of belts. The best method to check V-belt tension is with a Browning tension checker. Use it when you install the new belts and use it again 24 hours later. This ensures that the tension remains accurate. Always use the manufacturer's guides and tables when using this valuable tool. With the motor off, locked out, and tagged, begin by measuring the span length where the belts enter the sheaves. In this example, the span length is 30 inches. Using that 30-inch measurement, we set the large O-ring on the tension checker at 30, the deflection, and set the small O-ring at 0 to measure the deflection force. Deflection force is the amount of force in pounds that it would take to deflect the sample belt. You can find this information on the Browning tension checker instruction sheet or on our drive printout from the website. To find the correct tension value, locate the belt cross-section, the diameter of the small sheave, the RPM range of the small sheave, and then follow across the page to the correct belt type for a new belt. Here we can see that 20.1 pounds of force per belt is required. When using the edge printout, multiply the minimum tension by 1.5 for initial new belt startup. Place the large end of the Browning tension checker at the center of the belt span. Press down until the bottom of the large O-ring is even with the top of the adjacent belt. The small O-ring should now read 20.1 pounds. Now reset the small O-ring at 0 and repeat the process on each of the other belts. Remember, it should be standard procedure to check the sheave alignment after any adjustment in the distance between the shafts. Run the drive for 15 to 20 minutes. This will give the belts time to seat themselves in the sheave grooves. Then recheck the belts to ensure minimum belt tension has been maintained. Over-tensioned belts can be just as much a problem as under-tensioned belts. Belts that run too tight put too much strain on the drive, causing the bearings to overheat. Each belt should ride consistently in the sheave groove from one belt to the next. When you have correctly installed the new belts, properly set the tension, and realigned the sheaves, you are now ready to reinstall the belt guard. This is a good time to apply your Browning drive label for future part identification. Drives that have longer spans, excessive vibration, or pulsating loads may have problems with individual V-belts turning over or jumping off the drive. This is referred to as belt whip. Banded belts are used in these circumstances to dampen the vibration, reducing belt whip, and eliminating belt turnover. One last point that will add life to your drive belts. Occasionally it may be necessary to shut down a drive for an extended period of time. It is highly recommended that the tension of the belts be relaxed during this period. This simple procedure prevents the belt from stiffening and hardening and losing its strength. When returning the drive back into operation, be sure to retension the belts and realign the sheaves. In review, as part of your regular maintenance, clean your belts and sheaves and check them for wear. When installing new sheaves, always remove the oil from the sheave and bushing. Be sure your new belts are a matched set from the same manufacturer and never mix old belts with new. Most importantly, take the time to accurately set the tension of your new belts using the Browning tension checker. Always recheck the sheave alignment anytime you change the distance between sheaves. Properly installed and maintained, your Browning belts will deliver the superior performance for which they were designed. Browning would like to thank you for your time reviewing this video. We have provided the highlights for installing belt drives, but service work should always be provided by a qualified technician. For problems not discussed in this video or new drive applications, contact the Browning Technical Service Team in Maysville at 1-800-626-2093 or visit our website at www.emerson-ept.com. We look forward to servicing you on your next belt drive application. Once again, thank you for choosing Browning Belt Drives.